cue.
Welcome to the DL Gaming Podcast. I'm Bobby.
I'm Nick.
I'm Amanda.
And we are going through some growing pains here. The going all digital has had its downsides, some upsides, some are, but here we are. We should be sounding okay, I guess. That was the goal here. We're like, let's all go digital and then we'll start sounding okay.
Bobby is ascending to robothood, so he may sound kind of synthy.
Bobby's very upset because he got all new gear and then his internet took a shit and now he's on a dial-up connection.
No, my internet
Pittsburgh
seems to
curse.
be fine. I mean, speed, like if I do a speed test, it's perfectly fine. I just get these intermittent lag spikes, and it was happening in a particular game. And I was like, this is weird, but maybe it's just because, I don't know. It was Heroes of the Storm, and I'm like, maybe they just shifted all their servers over to Diablo 4, and that's why. Maybe it's just this game, but apparently
It's
my
you.
voice,
It's a you
Yeah.
problem.
apparently it's my net. Well, it's not a me problem. It's my ISP problem, which I got to say, Google has been really good so far. I've never had an issue. I think I had an issue once where the internet went out, but I've never had an issue like this. That is disappointing. And I buy a whole year's worth of internet service, so I'm stuck with this for another year. So hopefully it gets better.
Fuck.
Are you sure it's not?
Damn.
You are personally responsible for this.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, it could be a possibility. That's all I'm saying. I don't know for sure, but
Yeah, have you tried plugging in? Like
Yeah.
you should plug yourself like in, with an Ethernet. That might.
And by the way,
Maybe.
this is the same guy who said, guys, I download terabytes and terabytes of data and nothing ever happens. It's great. This is the same guy, by the way.
Maybe.
So maybe they found out who was using
There's a
all the
lot of
bandwidth.
traffic. Yeah. That happened to me one time. I called Cox Cable. This is a long time ago when I had Cox Cable, and they told me like, oh yeah, you're using way too much data, and we don't allow FTP servers and like all this stuff. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'll change that. And then I never did. But yeah, when the guy came to install this internet, said like I kind of poked him a little bit for information, and I was like, so do you guys have data caps or like, do they? He's like, we don't care. Like he just flat out, he kind of knew where I was going. He's like, yeah, we don't care. So I was like, all right, this sounds like the ISP for me. But yeah, hopefully I get this figured out because it is super annoying.
Too bad you didn't ask him about lag spikes.
Yeah.
I'll just say too bad. I mean, it sounds like when he said we don't care, it meant giving you consistent, great internet. So-
I mean, this is the
We'll
first
care.
time in 5 years. So I
Yeah,
guess
dude,
that's
maybe it's your
pretty good.
router.
No, it's not. I plugged in directly to the wall.
Oh,
I don't think you're
Okay.
doing enough push-ups, dude. Like I really think it's a you problem. I'm sorry, but
Maybe.
You start eating soylent again, maybe it fix it. You never know, man.
pour soylent on your hardware. Okay, so let's talk about some video games.
yeah.
Yes.
Anyone?
Bob, let's do that.
How many
you still have to
listeners-
do your job.
how many listeners do you think we lose between the intro and the first video game?
All
New
of them?
listeners.
All of them?
Yeah, they know-
No one makes it this fucking far.
No.
I think
no one.
anybody checking out the podcast, yeah, they immediately tune out.
They're not listeners, dude. They're leavers.
Leavers, yeah.
Did they ever even come in the room in the first place?
You're looking. It's glass half full. It's how many levers did we gain, dude?
Well, Recycled says, the intro is great, so. Oh wait, no.
Perfect.
That's King Tyre. Oh fuck. Okay.
Fuck.
Okay, I guess I'll take the reins here. We are on the radar. We're both in and on the radar, guys. And these are games that came to our attention, but we have not played. It's a lot of them are coming down the pike, and it's collaborative with our Discord, where we have a channel of the same name. Bobby, go ahead and kick it off with Puppet Master game. I looked at this, I was like, this looks so bad. I was like, why is this? and then I was like, no way I'm gonna put it on the radar. And then here it is.
Yeah. I mean, I got it. It's Puppet. I got to talk about it. So this was recommended by Bertram J. And first of all, if you know, dude, the Puppet movies, yeah, they're these horror movies from like the late 80s to they're still making them. and nobody knows why. They aren't good movies. Collectively, like they're pretty good, and like the franchise and the brand is kind of cool. It's like these little puppets, they come to life and kill people. But if you single out any one movie, it's not that great. But somebody made a video game about this franchise, and I was kind of surprised to see it because I'm always surprised at the success of this franchise. Like it really, I don't understand how it's made it so because like I said, the movies really aren't that great. But yeah, someone made a video about this. It's it looks like an arena shooter. You play as the puppets, and you just run around and kill each other. It's in early access, and I believe it's free to play. Yeah, it is free to play. So I mean, no risk on this one. But yeah, I just gotta. I know I said like these movies aren't very, but I do enjoy them, of course. You know, these terrible horror movies. So I gotta give a shout out to Podcaster. It's funny when I see this too, because I remember talking to somebody who was somebody on my friends list. You know, some random European guy, and he had his user icon was Blade from Puppet Master, and I asked him about it, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I love those movies." So maybe it's like a big hit outside of the United States. I don't know.
Big hit with like Psychopaths, dude. It looks. I don't like it. I don't like it.
You not a big fan of puppets? No.
I also like how Bobby's like, well, if you watch the movies individually, they're not good. It's like what they come together as Voltron. And
Pretty much, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, collectively, like when you put them all together, like I don't know. There's a ton of these, man, and they keep making them. I watched like 8 of them, and like each one, I was like,
Jeez.
you know, maybe it's like a TV show. By the time you get so far into it, you start to like it. So, yeah.
Hey, Bobby, maybe we should kill your video. Maybe that would have helped. That was
No,
pretty rough,
it
dude.
won't.
That was a bumpy road. All right, I have The Last Spell. This is a big, huge mix of genres, which seems to be working. It's got good reviews. And since it has a lot of genre mixing, it could get very confusing because it apparently throws a lot of information at you all at once, but it has a very good tutorial system, so people are very happy with it. It's 92% right now. It is a mix of tactical turn-based combat, wave survival, tower defense, and a roguelike all in one. So your towers are essentially characters. They're RPG characters, and you can place them, and then the waves of the monsters come in, but more like they do in They Are Billions than they do in like a standard tactical turn-based where, like, you know, you have a certain amount of guys you have to kill. They just keep coming. And so I was watching somebody play today, and you build this. Oh, there's also a city builder. So you have to spend your resources on making your camp stronger as you go as well. So putting up walls and stuff like that. So there's a lot going on here, and so I'm glad that the tutorial's good. But so you move your characters around, and you, much like an RPG, they have several attacks. They can move around. You use action points to move them around and attack. And then after you're done with your move, the swarm gets to move, and then so all these monsters come closer to your base, you know, and then you take your turn again. And it's not just your characters, but you also have like ballistas and catapults and things that you put into your town. There's a lot going on here. It's all pixel-based art in the isometric view. I think it's good. It looks good. It is going for $22 right now, 10% off. I think I'm gonna wait for a deeper cut sale. Maybe next year I'll pick this up or something. It just had its 1.0 release. I think it looks great. People really like it. 92%. You can't complain. And so, yeah, there it is for those who think they want to play it.
It looks pretty interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. It does look really good. I have basically these last 2 weeks I play right after the podcast, and that's my gaming for the whole week. So that's how it's been. And so I only played one game this week. So if I buy something that's like, it's not going to get played, and I know it. But if I had like my old schedule, this probably would have been bought already. Did anybody pick up that robot mech battle?
No.
One that we were all like, that's awesome. Let's all go get it. And nobody did. Yeah.
No.
It's on my wish list.
Isn't it on sale right now because of the spring sale?
Could be.
Well, I mean, something to do with spells and other fantasy things. On my radar, I have Dark and Darker, which is like a very they call it a unforgiving hardcore fantasy first person shooter dungeon PvPvE adventure. So you can band together with your friends, and it's a type of dungeon crawler where it almost reminds me of like fucking Doom, but like in a fantasy setting, and you're going through a dungeon and fighting other monsters and other players, which I think is going to be really cool. They have multiplayer, obviously, and you're going around looting and things like that. But they have no release date yet. They just say it's coming soon, and so we don't have a price point either. But it looks like it could be a lot of fun. I mean, I can see that there's like a barbarian that you can do. There's a whole bunch of fantasy roles that you can pick from, and it looks like it's 3-person squads that you're running in.
So I've
That's
actually
pretty
put
cool.
in about 10 hours in this game already.
What? No
Um,
shit.
Yeah, so they do playtest weekends, and they usually start, or now it's a playtest week, is what they've been doing. And so there's no payment. You don't have to pre-order the game or anything. You just go to their store page and click add to wish list, and then they'll let you know when the playtest starts, and you can just click a link on the notification, and you can download the playtest system. This game, I think, is going to be a game that arguably kills Tarkov or does way better than Tarkov. Just because the way the variance is and like how it feels in the game to play. You don't feel like you're being killed by cheaters all the time. The combat is slow, by the way.
Okay.
It's not like turn-based. It's pretty slow. The thing is, there's a class that does not fight slow, and that's the barbarian. The barbarian will fuck your day up. The problem is that like he doesn't really wear armor, so he takes a lot of damage, but he's the only class that can literally destroy doors, while every other class has to like, and you can destroy a door, it just takes like 15 whacks, but he can just one shot a door, or her, it's both. And normally to open and close a door, it takes about 3 to 5 seconds. So being able to break through them is a huge deal. This next playtest, they've already teased 2 new classes, which are supposed to be, I believe, the final classes announced, and that's Monk and Bard. This game is one of those games where you can get super sweaty in it, in the sense of like I've seen like people do extreme playthroughs and things like that, or they have all unique items and all legendary items, and they're soloing like teams of like 2 or 3 by themselves, and it's insane.
Dude, they're doing this launch so like smart. Like they're not doing the early access broken game looter shooter. Like they're really growing it with the community in mind first, and I have a lot of faith in that approach.
This, and I do too, and that's why I like it, and it's definitely a day one pickup for me. They're really going, I think they're going to go like playtest week, and then it's going to be a playtest month, and then like after that it's going to be a full-on release. I think people are estimating it's supposed to be like $30 on release. And every class has so many different play styles and like abilities and stuff, which is pretty interesting. I like how they do invisibility for rogues. You're just completely invisible. Like you have an ability to just go completely invisible. But the other thing is that, like, for example, if you're a fighter, you can find an invisibility potion, but you can't move. And it only lasts like 15 seconds or something like that. So there's 3 different ways to play the game. You can play the game solo against, I believe, 12 other players. You can play in teams of 3 against 9 other teams. And then you can play what is called a high roller mode, which is the same map and game mode of 3s, but the loot is way higher and the enemies are way harder. And this is a game where the PvE will kill you just as much as the PvP. Like killing a goblin takes like 30 seconds to 20 seconds because you're just so, I don't want to say weak, but they're formidable. Like you use the PvE against the other players to kill them as well. So it's
That's a fun mechanic though, to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And that's that's a little bit like Tarkov in ways too, at least with the bosses, like you can totally use a boss as a distraction to bring people over and try and kill them. But I see what you're saying with that. So you said that you go on their website and wish list it, and then they'll let you know about when playtests come out.
you don't have to do their website. You just go onto Steam and you click add to your wish list, and you'll get the notification on Steam that the game has a playtest.
So smart. There's another game, The Wandering Village, that recently came out that did that too. Like
And the finals is doing that too.
it's such a good idea. I feel like
smart idea.
so many teams are like afraid to get their games into the hands of people because they're scared that people won't pay for it after. And I guess that's true for some titles. Like you wouldn't want to play like a 3-hour story game again, right? So
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm laughing because I'm looking at Bobby. He's got 4 pixels.
yeah.
Those pixels are struggling.
Moving.
All they see is hair, a forehead, and some facial hair.
So
No details.
Bobby's in his final form, dude.
He is ascending to digitalhood.
He's pure energy, 1 pixel.
The unknown Pokemon.
One thing I do want to say lastly about the game is that there's definitely moments where you find shit while you're playing. So like it's the same exact loot system as Diablo, where every item is a square or a certain amount of squares, and you have a certain amount of squares in your inventory and all that shit. And so like you can have like a straight doo-doo caca run and then just find like some crazy weapon and just start beating the fuck out of people. It's definitely a great game.
That's almost like a roguelike mechanic.
Oh, it's very much like a roguelike. The only thing that stays constant is like enemy spawns. Like the spirit will always, and like the mage will always spawn inside the library, but the library is like a high loot area because it has a lot of health potions and like magic books and stuff that are worth a lot of money. There's, I believe, right now 16 vendors in the game.
Damn.
Compared to Tarkov's like 8.
Yeah.
And they're all different. And then there's also like a kind of like an auction system where people can sell items, and it gets pretty crazy on that too.
You know what's funny about this, Amanda, is this is like the 4th time this has been on the radar. I put it on the radar and I didn't know it was a play for keeps game. You put it on the radar. It didn't sound like you knew it was a play for keeps game. And both times he's like, all right, guys, settle down.
If you listen to this podcast, you've heard Nick talk about Dark and Darker
3
times, pretty much.
But I think you weren't there for 2 of them,
as soon
Amanda.
as soon as I said it, I thought in my head like, I have fucking heard of this before.
Deja vu.
It's a great game. I talked about it when it first got announced, and it like there was I think only 3 classes available, and I think now there's 6. And there's going to be a total of 8. So it's been around for a hot minute.
Well, it's the first time I've heard about it, damn it, and I'm going to talk about it.
Yeah, you show them.
I think they've done
shut up, Nick.
I think they've done 5 or 6 playtests. But that's about it. But other fantasy shit, so you can hear me talk some more, is Total War Warhammer 3. How can you talk about it again, and how can it be on the fucking radar? I don't know. Essentially, this Tuesday, it was announced that the Chaos Dwarves are coming to the game. And usually the DLC packs for races is like $15, but this one's $25, I think. The reason being is that the race is absolutely insane. So they're Chaos Dwarves, and compared to normal dwarves, they're just on crack. They have slaves. They have death trains that you can field on the battlefield. They have flying bulls. Their whole like religion and like decor is all bull themed. Like they have centaurs, but they're bulls, and they have like flying bulls with like huge wings and like flaming hooves and like flaming horns. They're supposed to have the biggest artillery piece in the game, as well as the biggest monster in the game, I believe, which is pretty insane. everybody's been knowing that these guys were going to be added eventually. It's just they didn't know when, and now it's finally coming next month. But it's $25 if you have been playing Total War and you need something new to bring you back into the game. I think this is it. They're adding a lot of new stuff to the game for this faction. I've always said that every faction feels like a different game in a sense. So this, I've already purchased this. That's how good it looks. But yeah,
It's not surprising at all that you purchased. It could look like shit and you would buy it.
First of all, it's on sale, asshole, and I have bought shit DLC.
My daughter's awake, so I have my own Chaos Dwarf right here. I don't have to pay for. But what was I gonna say? Oh, so did the version of this game come out yet? The one that you were waiting for before you start dumping your hours into it?
Technically, no.
So wait. So before they like put out the ultimate version of this game, they're already working on DLCs and putting out DLCs.
So the main like chungo part of the game is called Immortal Empires. And what it is that you can play every faction in every continent, and it's the whole world is connected. Normally, the story mode of the game when you first buy it, if you just play it on like, for example, what's it called, the Xbox thing where you can subscribe.
Game Pass.
Game Pass. So if you play it on Game Pass, you really only have that game mode, where it's the shorter version. It's like one third of the actual map, if that, and only like 12 races. Compared to when you play it like this, I think there's 300 factions or 300 factions, and it's a huge map. It's insane. But it's still in beta, and when they do their 1.0 for that game mode, I believe they're going to probably launch it as a separate game.
Whoa! You got to pay again, or like another?
No. So essentially, like from what's being thrown around in the Discord and on Reddit, people think that it's going to be like you pay $30 and you only get this game mode. You don't get any of the other game modes. So it's going to be interesting. But the Immortal Empires is pretty much already all fleshed out. They think that they're going to add one more race before they get to the final version of it, and it may be the Chaos Dwarves, or that might be the final race, or that might be the race after that. So, yeah,
well, there's definitely a lot of things in that game.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna be once Chaos Dwarves comes out, I'll probably actually beat the game with them and actually get achievements, because I've played with mods, and so you don't get any achievements, and that's what I've been doing in the meantime with the game.
Is cheating, Nick? Cheating?
No, not cheating. I want to add shark people to the game. Okay.
All right, dude. Whatever.
But
well, shark people generally are cheating, dude.
They're cheating bastards. Okay, hate on the shark.
But yeah, Warhammer has letters in it, and the other game that has letters in it is Hyperlight Breaker. This is the sequel to Hyperlight Drifter, which was like an early. It's always been floating around. I don't know when it was originally out, but I played it pretty late. It's kind of like what happened with me with Hollow Knight. By the time I had played it, Hollow Knight was kind of like outdated. There was already better versions of it, but it was like fantastic for, I missed a train on it. I feel like that's how Hyperlight Drifter was. It's got all these amazing reviews, but I think I played it, like after I played Hades or something like that, which is like, a way more polished down the lineage of the same type of game. But the new one, Hyperlight Breaker, is a fully 3D world, not a top-down perspective anymore, and it looks gorgeous. I mean, the use of color and the art direction just overall looks amazing. The first game as well. I think the only knock on the first game was that it was too short, pretty much, and everything else is like 90-something% on that game. It's the same studio here, and it's a fully 3D. I don't know if I would say AAA, but it's reminding me of Returnal. So it's a roguelike third-person, fully 3D rendered world. And so, if this is a thing that's going to be happening, I am all for it. As much as I liked Returnal, like if they keep pumping these things out, I'm going to keep playing them because so far they're batting 1,000, but there's only been one. So, and this looks so good. I think the music from the first one, a lot of people always talk about the look of it. The look of this one already looks amazing. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about this. So it's in early access, and it says coming soon. I think fall. I think I saw fall somewhere. So
Emilio,
nice.
could you talk a little closer to the mic? You got quiet there, or is it because Luna woke up?
Maybe I touched some buttons.
I think you might have touched a button or two. Anyways, sorry about that.
There's orange.
Oh,
It
there we
wasn't
go.
orange before.
Yeah.
I gotta go like this.
There he is.
Well, you just got to calm down, but something like that.
I don't know if you got a deep throat in him.
You're sounding much better. I'm happy how enthusiastic you are, though. That was great.
Yeah, sure. Enthusiasm. That's the best part. What do you got, Bobby?
Oh boy. All right. I'm gonna make it quick because apparently I sound terrible.
No, you
I'm gonna
sound
try
great
turning off
now.
my video too. We'll
No,
see
dude.
better.
I
No,
think
you're sounding
I
good
know.
now.
we traded some video quality.
All right. Well,
for...
while you guys were talking about, I don't know what. Wait, what? While you guys were talking, I submitted a support tip to my ISP. So I don't know. Maybe they just immediately fixed it. Probably not, though.
You get a reply from Google. All it says is, "We don't care."
Now Nick is so loud. This episode is going to blow people's eardrums out, and they're going to be like struggling to hear. It's all good.
You're gonna be like, what?
Oh boy. Oh my God. All right. So the last game I want to talk about is called Magin, the Rat Project Stories. I think it's Magin. Might be Magin. I don't know. It's a weird looking game. So it's a card game, but like Grifflin's, it's RPG. So you don't just make a bunch of quick runs. You actually have like a long-term game with characters that you build up. But it is card-based combat, and it's got this really comic book style, very thick strokes. It's got a comic style art, and there is an emotion mechanic, which they don't really describe on the Steam page, but there are some screenshots where it looks like you have to make decisions, and those affect the characters, and that's something that you have to balance as you play. It could be good. It's being published by DLG, which I'm always a big fan of because of the games. Oh, what are they? The ones with Rufus, the point and click adventure games, the Deponia series. They've got a lot of games that they publish. But there's the game is not out yet. It's coming out in 2023, so I don't know. We'll see if it's any good, but something to keep an eye on. I'll talk about this later when I talk about Inscryption, but I know I really, really liked Grifflin's, but the RPG element of was, I don't know if I prefer that over the Slay the Spire quick run type of game where just, you have a run, it's solely based on mechanics and randomness, and you fail, then you start again. I think I might prefer that over kind of the long-term games, but yeah, but something I'll keep an eye on. I enjoy these card games.
Cool.
Should we just start this episode over? Because
No.
wow.
There was a point. Bobby.
We'll do it live.
We'll
do it live.
Bobby was 1 pixel. Emilio was like finicking with his mic, and Nick was like smashing. I don't know what he was doing. He was like playing the bongo drums on like the drum of his mic. It was,
Your audio was pretty good, actually, Bobby, on that one.
Yeah, Bobby.
But,
Audio was great.
That's a perfect segue into Inscryption, I think. We are now in highlights. These are games that we have played, and we either enjoyed or hated enough to talk about them here.
All right. Well, yeah, I guess I'll keep talking while my internet is behaving. I did play Inscryption this week. I thought I was going to beat it. I was really excited to come on the podcast and say I beat it, and here's the scoop. But this game keeps going and going. There's a lot of twists and turns here. It's very interesting. it's kind of what I expected. I expected something really weird and out there and very meta and very fourth wall breaking, and it was all that. So it definitely lived up to my expectations. The card battling system in it, the mechanics of it are not on the same level as some other games, but still I feel it's better than it needs to be, because what you have here is a card battler game, but outside of that, it's really an escape room game. You're playing, I don't know. It's hard to describe because you're playing the game, but you're also a character outside of the game playing the game. And I'm going to dance around some spoilers on this, so it might sound a little weird, but you're trying to escape this room. And when you're playing card games, you have to be aware of, you can't just play to win the card game because it's bigger than the card game that you're playing. You have to do things with the games that you play to trigger things in the room that you're in so you can eventually escape it. So it, and I didn't quite like this about the game, but you can actually end up playing the game over and over again. So the actual like card game, like not the entire game itself, but the card game within it, I think I've beat it 4 or 5 times. And I've done it so many times because it took me a little while to realize like, oh, I need to do this. And then that triggers something outside. And once that happens, then I go back into the game and I do this. So it's a really good puzzle game. I have not played a game at all like this. It's incredibly unique. And I looked it up on how long to beat, because I was like, gotta be close. I'm like 10 hours into the game. How long to beat is 12 and a half. But I do gotta say that I spent a lot of time with the game just like idling while I was doing something else, and then I came back to it. So that might be a little inflated, but still I feel like I'm getting close to the end here. I thought I was getting close to the end, and then it completely changed, and I'm in this entire other part of the game where the gameplay completely changed. It's a card game, but it's a different style of game, and I'm like, I feel like I'm starting back at one here. It just opens up this whole new thing, and I have no idea how much how much more content there is. So I'll continue to play it, and we'll see what happens. But I went back and I watched the trailer on the Steam page because I didn't want to spoil anything. And also I thought like there are so many surprises in this game. I feel like it's almost a completely different game than's being advertised in the screenshots and the trailers. But then when I watched the trailers, I'm like, oh no, they do have some of this stuff. They've got the FMV or the found footage things that you discover after a certain part of the game. They've got a few other things. So, yeah, I guess those were there. I was just kind of more focusing on the card game itself. Emilio, how far did you get into this game? Because you played it before me.
Well, it's hard to say, right? I would say like the third or fourth, maybe the fourth mask that the guy wears. Maybe that.
Oh, okay.
Right.
So I
The
mean,
fourth.
you're talking about the card game. It's so much bigger
Yeah.
than that little card game, though. So you haven't escaped the cabin yet.
No, I thought
Um,
maybe the escaping the
yeah.
cabin was the end of the game, but no.
Yeah, no, it turns into something else at that point. Yeah, the boss fight are pretty interesting, but I feel like once you beat it 1 or 2 times, it becomes pretty easy because you get so many upgrades. But yeah, there's I think 3 bosses. There's the miner, the angler, and then the carver. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Oh, and then the final boss, the old man that you're playing against. Yeah, it's 4 bosses. It's a really good game. I don't know, man.
Is it dragging
It's tough
out?
because I have beat it, and I'm just like, no, I just kind of want to know where it's going and like what it opens up a lot of questions. It's very mysterious, and I kind of want some answers. And I don't know. I was hoping to get him at the end of like escaping the cabin, but it kind of just created more questions. I feel like it's like Lost. You remember that show? It's like
Yeah.
you want solution at the end of the season, and then they just open up a whole can of worms. And at a certain point, it's just like there's more questions than answers here. So Yeah, I don't know, but we'll see. Maybe I'll finish it this week, and I'll be able to give some. I don't know. Even if I did finish it, I don't know if I'd want to spoil it because it is really enjoyable to discover these on your own. I do really like the animation style. Like they have kind of a retro look to the game as you're supposed to be playing this game that's found on a floppy disk, but just the way the characters move with like kind of this jerky motion, it is it borders on a horror game almost. It is kind of scary at points.
You know what's funny, Bobby, is like I
But
was like, I'm not gonna play this anymore. I'm gonna play it on my Switch when I travel. And I could
Mhm.
it was playable, it wasn't great. But here's the thing, at the end when you die, he takes a picture of you. That's the one thing I couldn't do on
Mhm.
the deck. And I was just stuck there. There was no input that I could put to take the picture. And that's where I got stuck. It's like a shitty place to do it. And
That
yeah,
sucks.
so I
Oh, that's
couldn't play it
weird.
on it. Yeah.
Dang.
I played
What I
some.
noticed right off the bat, oh,
Go ahead.
we're moving on. No, go for it. No, I was going to
Uh,
say that I knew right away, like you've got to go into this game and his other game, Pony Island, was like this too. You got to go into the game like thinking out the box. So when I started up the game, there were the typical things like settings, exit, new game, or continue. But new game, you not click on it, and you could only click on continue. So I was like, that's really weird, but it sets you up for like, hey, you gotta, this is going to conform to like everything that you're used to with all the other games that you play. Eventually you do unlock, like when you get out of the cabin, then you unlock the new game, and then that takes you on another path. But because the idea is that you found this game, someone you're picking up from someone else's playthrough and just kind of jumping into it. But
yeah, this has some
yeah,
fourth wall breaking there.
yeah, a lot of that.
Well, that's pretty cool.
All right.
Something that
Okay,
didn't
what he's
look
got?
something that didn't look like
Ugh.
it was on a floppy drive. When this is rough, guys. We are just bouncing all over the place. But Guilty Gear Strive hit Xbox Game Pass, and I've got to say, so I've got two links. It's the same game, but click on the first one. This is by far the best looking 2D fighter I've ever played. Not yeah, 2D fighter that I've ever played. It looks like an anime movie come alive, and a good anime movie. And funny enough, the story of this game is like a full-fledged anime movie. You can just let that play, and then every once in a while the two characters will come together and you'll fight your way through that part. But yeah, it's a full-on anime movie. Now, it's also kind of like one of my pet peeves about it. Like, this game is so Japanese. It's every song is just heavy metal distortion. um not Imagine Dragons. What is a Dragon Force, like Dragon Force type soundtrack. It's just so much. It's everything's so much in your face. um the narrator has to come in at the beginning of every match. Men are the worst thing in society. And what? And he says the same thing every time you fight. Every single time, even you playing online against other people, doesn't matter. He has this little spiel. It's like, fuck off, dude. I just want to play the game. The best thing about this game is playing the goddamn game. Everything outside of it is so bad. But the game is great when you're actually fighting another person. The matchmaking was pretty terrible. You have to you have this like little 8-bit icon, and you run him around, and if you pull out your sword and they pull out their sword, that means you can fight each other. It's fucking stupid. And so I was running around trying to fucking show my before they show yours or whatever the fuck. It was stupid. And then eventually I found out that you can actually go to practice mode and just wait for a match, and that ended up being the best thing. Literally not once did I find a game with the sword showing mechanic. It was dumb. Everything, the menus, everything is dumb in this game. But the fighting is spectacular. Yeah, it looks fantastic and it looks like 2D, but I think it's actually 3D rendered, or they're doing some sort of trick, because when you do a finishing art or something like that and you finish the other person off, it'll give you 3 angles. It'll freeze frame and move around the camera. So it's really impressive when it does that. As far as the gameplay itself, it feels like everybody's broken. It feels like everybody can do like a 60% damage move pretty easily, compared to other games. Like to do that in Street Fighter, 60%, that would be like a high level combo, for a high level player to pull that off, that you're able to drop. This is like you just do the ultra move or whatever, and that's 60% right off the bat. So of course I played the Zangief type character, and I was the skills translated perfectly, and I was just wrecking these fools. It was so much fun. Just like in Street Fighter, a spinning pile driver is like maybe at its maximum 20% damage. The one in this game, with no power behind it, just a regular spinning pile driver, is 60% damage. So you do 2 of those and you win the game. Somebody just walked in. Anyway, so for free, I can highly recommend this game for anybody who likes 2D fighting games.
Just to kind of bounce off of that, the game is, if you do like metal music, I believe it won a bunch of awards for its music. And Emilio's pretty right. A lot of people complain about the outside part of the games, like the interactions and like the story mode and all that kind of stuff. But the actual fighting,
It's always
is
the worst
really
part
crisp.
of any fighting game.
Yeah, well, that's what I just saw an article, like I think on Wednesday, where it's like, can fighting games just please have a decent fucking single player?
Well,
but yeah,
the sad part about it is, like, it was very well done. Like, it's a whole fucking anime movie. But if you're not into anime movies, go fuck off. Like, I don't know if it's good or bad. The art is incredible, but yeah, it's just like, I don't know. The only
how many people on the roster do you remember? Isn't it like only like 12?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Maybe 14, something like
Yeah.
that. The other link there is the Steam page. So it's $30 on Steam. I didn't see the reviews on Steam. I think it's in the 90s though. Yeah, it's like a really good game, guys. If you can get past everything that isn't the game, I can recommend it.
Wow. I mean, I think that was actually a pretty good review on the game itself. I've heard so many similar things being said about it. But a game that hits on all fucking cylinders and that's just straight fire, no matter how many times you play it, is The Binding of Isaac. Can we all agree on that?
Yep.
So me and my wife, we play at least 6 times a week. And it's always like right after our daughter falls asleep. And we kind of play it to unwind and talk, because you can always pause or you can just proceed through the game slowly. This is like, for those who haven't heard us talk about The Binding of Isaac for a long time, this is the roguelike. Like, if you want to know a game to build like a roguelike, this is the one. I've introduced a lot of my friends to this game, and a lot of them have lost a lot of hours of playtime. I mean, they all love it. It looks simple. It looks basic. Oh, it's just a 2D up, down, left, right shooter. Just the character design is hilarious. The amount of playable characters, the amount of enemy types. It's a great game. But what I wanted to talk about is, this is one of the games where essentially, one item can definitely make or break a run depending on what you're trying to do. However, what I will say is that for the first time ever playing this game, I got an item that has always been garbage. Like, every single time it has been absolutely shit. And what it does is that it gives you 9 lives. And you would think that would be a really good item, right? Every time you die, you just respawn, and then you just continue the run, beating bosses and stuff. But what was interesting is that I was playing a character that I don't really play that often, and the mechanic because I was playing in co-op.
Were you playing the Lost?
Yes.
Yeah.
The mechanic essentially allows you to resurrect in the room that you're currently in, and it doesn't restart any boss fights. So Leslie essentially did all the damage to the boss, and I was tanking everything. And we defeated the Beast, which is one of the hardest bosses in the game, with the Lost, which is pretty hard. If you haven't played this game, or if you haven't, if you're a new listener, this is definitely a pickup when on sale, and it is on sale right now. There is the base game and 3 DLC. This game has a super long history. It was originally a Java game on Newgrounds, I believe. If you remember Newgrounds, if you're fucking 80 years old. And then it finally came out, and then a DLC came out, which it doubled everything in the game, and then another DLC came out, like doubled everything in the game, and then the creator of the game was like, "No more, we're done. I'm just going to make other games about it." And then he was inspired by a modder, and then they worked together to make essentially another game that doubled everything inside the game. It added 16 new characters. That just the most recent DLC. So a definite pickup if you've never played it. It's on Switch, PlayStation, Xbox, PC. It's great on the Steam Deck. It's on the fucking Nokia 6180. Like it's on the BlackBerry. It's on everything. It's great.
Hey, Nick, just for people that are confused, how should they buy this game?
I would suggest going to Steam or going onto our Discord, and you should see a link. I believe we provide the links of everything we talk about on the Discord itself. If we don't, we should start doing that. But you go to the Binding of Isaac store page and just buy the complete bundle, which is I think on sale for, what is it right now? I can't see it. $35 for all of them instead of $60. But you'll definitely get your money's worth. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
All right.
Binding of Isaac.
Hi, guys.
All right. Well,
So-
hey, I'll take the reins. Speaking of something that is worth your money and your money's worth, I'm going to talk quite a bit about the finals. The finals is going to be free, so it's absolutely worth your money because it costs 0 decals for it. I got right now, I think until March 21st, you can sign up to be a part of their play test. It's next on game, so like they kind of reskin something off of basically Counter Striker games that work, because there's definitely some vibes of like Apex, but it's not as fast moving as Apex. There's mirror edge elements in this game because you are zip lining and jumping and climbing walls and hardcore parkour all the way through. So what is this game, right? Well, this game is basically, there are, I believe, 4 teams of 3. It is a shooter. You join in with your buddies to basically find these vaults. You open the vaults. There's like a few seconds where you're waiting for the money to accumulate into a vault. You grab that box of money and then you run to a payout area or cash out area, which is just like this ATM that kind of has this whole like casino, you won the jackpot kind of feeling. The entire game is essentially a show, a competition show where there's an audience watching in the map. And so right now they have Monaco as one of the places, and then Seoul is another place they have. 2 maps at the moment. I do know that they're planning on adding more. I've been playing as much as I can of this, and I've been playing with quite a few people from like the Jew for You community, and they love it. And this has been a lot of fun for all of us, because what's really cool with this game is that everything is destructible. And so that has offered some really phenomenal tactics where like we're sitting there all defensed up, because you can have turrets and you can do these like what's called goo grenades, where they just create these huge barriers. And so you sit there and you post up and waiting for this ATM essentially to pull out all the money. and then somebody just blows up the floor from under you and money falls and you fall. And there's already been a time where I was doing that, like just waiting and just looking, and all of a sudden all of us falling and somebody killed me as I was falling multiple floors down because they just kept RPGing up through the floors from the bottom until they got to where the money is. And that shit to me is so hilarious with such great content. You literally use destroying things as like a way to have pinch points and get through and try and get the objective. This game is super fun and awesome because the whole point is that you want to be the team that has the most amount of money. And if your whole team gets wiped, then you lose half of the money that you've accumulated. So you don't want your whole team to die. They have 3 different builds kind of for your character or contestant. And there's a lot of customization with this. You can have them wear all kinds of different stuff with a different face. You can have them have like a male-ish looking face but a very feminine body, which is kind of fun and interesting. They've got all these different like outfits. Like when I was playing, I think Jew for You was like this beefy dude wearing a tutu and a white swan outfit running around on point, just like killing people. And so the medium, so like I said, there's light, medium, and heavy builds, and they play totally differently as well. So like the heavy build is definitely much more of what you imagine of like your tank running through. You have like a special ability of being able to have a shield where everybody can run behind, and you have a lot of things that help you blow through stuff. And so you're definitely like the big heavy hitter. You can run with a sledgehammer or a flamethrower. And I personally like medium build. I think it's kind of all around in the middle, especially with my internet being so testy. Because the medium build is definitely much more rounded. You can either kind of go a more healing route, or you can use a device like a turret gun to lay it down. And one of the things that I've been really loving doing is as soon as I get to like a contested point where like say there's a bunch of people, because if there's a team doing a cash loadout, then everybody notified, and then you can run to try and steal money out from under them. And we've done that a few times, and every time I do that, I love to lay down a turret and then run and like flank the person that's aiming at the turret, so that way that I'm shooting them on the side. So like that's kind of a fun tactic as well to do that. But this game I think is just honestly great. Like I'm having so much fun playing it when I can play it. It's really fantastic. It moves so well and fluid. There hasn't been a lot of like crazy moments. There's a clunkiness to this that I think it's intentional. It kind of works. Like the clunkiness works, but otherwise the movement is incredibly smooth. I felt that like aiming was pretty solid. The gunplay itself is pretty solid. I know that the guys that I was playing with, one of them said that it does kind of remind him of TF2 as well, or that like it's casual enough that people are going to have fun playing it, but it has a lot of opportunity and moments to be like kind of an esport because they do have tournaments and there is ranked games. And so it's kind of like you are going to be able to be as casual or sweaty about it as you want, which I think is really cool. I don't think there's a release date out yet. It just says coming soon, but it seems like they're doing what like other games that we were talking about is doing, like Dark and Darker and what was the one you were talking about, The Wandering Village, where they are doing these play tests and kind of like fine tuning it before they release it. And I think they're doing the same here. They will have a battle pass. I did see that, I think. And I'm sure they'll have like bullshit cash shop kind of stuff because they do already have somewhat of like a currency where you can buy outfits, but it does seem to be all cosmetic so far. Um, I do wish that they had more customization in the guns, because it is kind of just like if you're a heavy build, you get an option of like 3 or 4 guns, and that's about it, you know. And that's kind of really it. So really, if you want to be playing with a bunch of different guns, you'll have to kind of change your build. But the light build is pretty fun as well because you can run around and turn completely invisible. And then also the gadgets that they have in the game are pretty cool. You have like heat peaking monitors, so that way the people that are going invisible, you can actually see them. There's like detection rays and detection probes, which are cool as well. But I've been really enjoying this game because I feel like with the destruction element of it, it just totally changes the way that the shooter is played, which is so much fun to me. And I don't know, I just feel like it's somewhat too like a fucking troll like shooter game, which is great because it's just there's so many moments where it's like you blow a hole into the stairs because you know that people are going to be running up the stairs and not looking, and then they just keep falling down. Like it's just, and that's a way to like trap them. And so I just think it's hilarious.
I had not heard of it. Is this like a mixture between Payday and Mirror's Edge? Like, it looks so cool. It looks awesome.
We talked about this last week. Oh, you weren't here last week.
Neither of you were. We talked a
Yeah.
lot about this last week.
Oh
Yeah,
shit!
but she actually played it. I do have some questions, Amanda. How do you get the cash that you're going to put in the ATM?
So you have to first run to a vault. So they usually will have like 2 vaults, maybe 3. They'll be like Vault A, Vault B, Vault C. So you would run to that, and then you had to wait a moment while a vault like kind of collect all the money, and then you pick up like this box and you run with it, which has the money. So you're essentially running with that vault, right? And it has the money, and so you're running across, and actually everybody else can see you. They can see how much money, but they don't know that it's exactly you. They can just see that there's like $7,000 like moving across the map, and they can go chase that to try and take that money from you as you are running to basically the big ATM or cash out point. And it's so cinematic. Like it's just, it's entirely designed like a game show. It looks like a game show. Your characters are your contestants, like, and it's just hilarious how they have it. Everybody's got like these poses, and it's just, the music is all synth wave, so it's like really fun as well. And I think that the music and the track and stuff is really great as well. I love this game, so I think it's gonna be awesome once it gets released, and it's fucking free. Like, it's excellent.
Do you think you'll need a team to play?
So I played a lot with randos. And then another thing too is that if you get into the playtest, there's actually a way for you to generate 2 Steam keys. So that way then you can have your friends play with you. Then you can have 2 other people and create like a squad with that. And I mean, it's certainly a team game. If you have one person running off and trying to kill everyone, you're gonna fail for sure. Like, you can't one man this game at all. Like, you definitely need to coordinate, work together, and it certainly helps to have 3 different builds. Although I've absolutely won with everybody being a medium build, so take that with a grain of salt. But it's definitely a lot better if you can get everybody working together and coordinating. And voice chat is by default select off, and there's no push to talk. So I did notice that not too many people are talking in the game, and I do feel like it's definitely much more fun when you do play with friends, but you really don't need to. Like, a lot of the times that I won, I was just playing with random people, but you are going to have to kind of establish, in a sense, like a semi pecking order, like right off the bat. Like, you're going to have to follow somebody, or like you take lead and then that they follow you, that kind of thing, because you definitely need to be going with your unit.
So 2 more questions, Stace. When you're going to make your deposit, do you have to like touch this ATM for a little while and defend it, or is it just
Yes.
instant?
No,
Okay.
you have to touch and defend it. And then an announcer will be like, so the teams have different names. There's like one called like the Live Wire. There's one that's like Boundless, and there's like the Kingfish. And an announcer will call out like, the Kingfish have initiated a cash out. And so then like everybody knows where that cash out is, and they can see the progress of it. So there's been certain times, depending on where you're at, where you think you have everything defended, and you're like, yeah, we got all these great points and stuff. And then like right at the end, in like the last few seconds, somebody blows up all of the structures around you and steals your money just right out from under you. And you're like, motherfucker.
When I was
so much
watching
fun.
when I was watching somebody stream this, I thought it was so great because I don't know if you guys remember the game Teardown, which is like a demolition game. So you have to make a path from, because once you steal the item, the alarms go off, and you only have a certain amount of times to get out of there or whatever. And so you have to make the clearest path. So you demo walls, and and then I saw that in this game where like the guy's like, I know the ATM's on the other side of this wall. I'm just gonna wait for something. And then he blew a hole in the wall, and then he jumped on the ATM like when he needed to. And I was just like, oh my God, that's so cool. Like,
So great.
yeah.
And I think too that the cash out areas are pretty neat as well. Or at least the ones that they tend to have. Like, one of them in Seoul, there's this 3 platform that's on a floating train that just kind of goes around the outskirt of the map. And so if you can kind of defend and have your whole team on that moving platform, I just feel like that is like the most OP kind of shit that you can do, because it's the way that it is that it's like always kind of moving, right? And it's moving on the complete outskirts of the map, and there's only a few areas where somebody could jump on the platforms. Otherwise, they can try to jump, but they will fail and they'll die. And it's very fun to watch people jump to their death because they're trying to get to you to kill you. Then, like I said, with these things that are the goo grenades, they essentially create these huge, like, puffy clouds. They look like they're goo, I guess, but like it's like a solid wall that people have to destroy to get through. And so with that 3 platform thing, you really can kind of like design this really great defensive thing or put turrets out so that way turrets are just constantly lighting up people as you're moving across the map. It's a wonderful spot. But there's some other ones that are like not as good as well. And I've seen too, like I really love the demolition thing as well, because I've seen somebody like destroy a chunk of the roof and then they go to like the perfect sniper spot and they can just look through this hole and just be killing people as they run up this building without even realizing that there's like a perfect vantage point for a sniper to take them out. So it's been really fascinating to see how different the gameplay and the tactic is with this. But I'm having a lot of fun with this game. It's really awesome.
Can't wait to try this out. This looks awesome.
I did that same thing in a coconut tree back in Nam, but I can't really talk about that. So I am really looking forward to that game. The only other game that I'm looking forward to as much as that one is Diablo 4. I played it for about 20 minutes, so I'm not going to really talk about it other than the graphics were incredible. Like, I was just, you know how games will go from the cutscene and then some games will impress you and be like, it's not a cutscene. You're going right into the game. This did that in a top-down game, like an isometric view. So like you have your fully rendered character with, I don't know how many pixels that takes or polygons that takes to make. And then it shrinks it down. And you're like, wow, they're pushing all those. You're getting so much unnecessary detail in these characters. It's crazy. Anyway, you guys played it a lot more than me, I'm assuming. What were your thoughts?
First things first, can we talk about the fucking opening cinematic?
Yeah, dude. I wasn't even sure if it was live action, dude. Like, I kept thinking it was live action.
We got audio coming in from Sniper.
Who's it? Oh boy, Sniper, you're really, I mean.
Oh, sorry. I can't hear it because it's muted for me. So that's great.
Talk about the cherry on top of this episode, dude.
We're doing so great.
We're doing
I
great.
think if we could summarize this whole episode is like when Emilio dropped the fucking Mexican Coke and it just went.
God, I was in the shower the other day and I just started laughing. Like I was just thinking about it. It was so fucking funny. Yeah, Nick's breathing.
You know how many levers we're gaining right now? We're gaining all the levers
dude,
right now.
So many levers. So many
levers.
Stop playing the goddamn fucking video.
Stop.
Jesus Christ.
Wait. I just had to mute it. Okay, I think we're good.
Oh man. Oh yeah, but that intro cinematic and well, that was amazing, and the launch was an absolute shit show, like it normally is for Blizzard, right? Like
it was
long
like
queue lines. It's just so much DCing as well.
I ended up just waiting a day, just being that guy. I'm like, you know what? I'm not even gonna fucking try to play it the first day, and I had no problems. I didn't get DC'd after like 3 hours of playing. I didn't have any problems at all. The only thing is that some things need to be optimized when it comes to like transitions between those cutscenes. Mm-hmm. But I do love the talent system now. Do you guys what are you guys' feelings on that?
Well, truthfully, when I tried playing on the very first day, and I definitely got hit with a lot of the long stuff. But I also was kind of like, I don't really give a shit because I was like slinging the finals in between it. So I was just like, okay, well, I'm just gonna wait as well. But I wasn't able to get too crazy far. Like I just started unlocking stuff. So yeah, you should take the raids. I do like it a lot, and definitely plan on playing a lot more of it to talk about it. So more will come. But yeah, anyway, as you were saying with the talents.
So yeah, I played the wizard. What classes did you guys play?
Oh, the sorcerer. Yep, all day. Yep.
What about you, Emilio? Oh wait, he's talking to someone else. Of course.
I gotta show you guys her hair. Come here, please. Come here.
This
Hold
is
on.
the-
For those
the
who
fucking
don't have
best
video,
episode of the
Emilio's
year.
about to have a
Jesus.
heart attack.
Her hair is so. It looks like she went just styled her hair as obnoxious as she could possibly do it. Come here, please. Show your hair to the
Come
Yeah,
here,
please
please.
come here so we can make fun of you.
Sam.
Nice.
Oh my God.
She's not gonna come. No.
I've known her for 8 years. I've never seen anything like it. Wow. Yeah. So it it seems to be like a branching path, right, Nick? Like you
Yeah.
invest in one thing and it takes you in a certain direction, which we've seen before. But this is almost like I feel like
So
you're more. It's more committing you to a certain path than other games.
kind of. So the way I can kind of describe it is almost like amoeba like, where in the beginning you're given 4 choices for abilities, right? And which is really weird because, for example, the wizard or sorcerer, I can't remember the official name of it. There's 4 abilities. There's 2 electric ones. There's a frost one and a fire one. The fire one is an actual like arrow that you can fire, and the frost one is the same thing. It's kind of like a projectile. But the shock one has like a shock where you can kind of like do it in a cone in front of you.
Like an arc.
Yeah, exactly. So I tried every single ability out just to see the differences and how and like the play styles, and they are very different.
Which one did you like the most? Because I went with fire, is what I went
I went with the frost. So I went with frost left click, and then I went with the right click of chain lightning, and then I did a bunch of other stuff later on. But the game just seems to be ridiculous as Sam's hair, which I just saw right now.
Did you show it?
Missed it. Come back. Come back.
Dude, she looks
Baby,
like
come
she looks like Don't Be a Menace.
Yeah, she does. She does.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Perfect. Wonderful.
Like it's coming out both sides. I don't know if you can see. There you go.
That made this
Got some wings.
That's good.
just
Yeah.
made this episode 10 times better. But no, I think as long as they don't do anything scummy with this game where they, make gems locked behind paid content, I think it'll be a great game.
Yeah.
They've obviously put a lot of fucking work into it. There's a lot of crunch time. The characters, the art, it's all Diablo, but it's a lot more grimier than Diablo 3. And I'm happy to fucking see that. I am tired of the purple lasers. I am tired of these fucking bright ass colors and these dumb things. And it doesn't feel like a horror game, or it doesn't feel like a dark hell like game. Meanwhile, this shit is gruesome as fuck. Spoiler warning for the first 5 minutes of the game. You wake up after being not conked in the head. You wake up in a room full of chopped up bodies, and then some guy feeds you some drugs. But I don't want to do any spoilers. And
Wow.
It's pretty fucking gross.
That wasn't my intro. My intro with the barbarian was a little different. And also, after I built my character, they played a cutscene, and the cutscene was beautiful, and it had my character that I just built in it. And that the technical achievement there is pretty impressive as well. The only way they can fuck this up at this point, I feel like, the animations were a bit off, and the enemies were kind of jumping all over the place. But that's all going to be smoothed out.
That's one thing I wanted to bring up. There was some moments where, like, I was running at 144 frames a second. But there were moments where, like, you would walk through a doorway and then you'd be like, your game stuttered for like 2 seconds or a second. You'd be like, oh, all the enemies just spawn in the rest of the dungeon. And it's pretty noticeable, to say the least.
Yeah. But yeah, the monetization here is really going to be, or the secondary, this is a $70 game. The secondary wave of monetization is really going to be whether or not they fuck this thing up or not. I mean, it's beautiful. You can see that the skill tree is something original. I'm sure they're going to smooth out the gameplay. So far,
they only have 2 months left, right?
Well, and so this week, like this weekend's kind of like the first wave of beta testing and things like that. And then next weekend is going to be open beta testing of people to try and stuff. So hopefully they will like hash out a lot of the things as well, because yeah, there's a lot of like buggy moments. Even I was kind of like running around and then all of a sudden everything spawned and I was like, well, okay, fuck. But it ends up still being like all right, and it's beautiful for sure. And I don't know, I just feel like this is like a really nice, like nostalgic kind of thing with the elements and darkness and macabreness of like Diablo 2, but some things from Diablo 3 that are nice and work as well. And I don't know, I dig it.
I like what I'm seeing. I've never played a Diablo game before. Is this like, when you talk about nostalgia, will this be fun for someone who hasn't played
someone
any
new?
game?
100%. If you like top
Absolutely.
down dungeon raiders and like
Like action RPG,
crazy
yeah.
boss fights, for those who didn't get in the playtest or who didn't pre-order the game or was afraid to pre-order the game and want to know a little bit of mechanical differences, so every character now has a dodge ability, and so it's either a jump or a roll or like a dash, and it's all bound to it's a space bar. It's the same classic shit where you have 4 abilities and then 2 minor abilities, which kind of just do your normal damage. The playtest is only the first chapter, and there's people that are getting like 12 hours out of that one chapter. I have a buddy who hit level 25, killed the world boss, and still has more shit to do, and he wanted to play all 3 characters, and he can't.
How many chapters are
I
in the
think
final game?
next-
Do we know?
We don't know. The previous game I think had 5 chapters.
Cool.
I think 5 is the hard
should at least
number,
be
dude.
4 or
I feel
5,
like
yeah.
2,
Yeah.
3, 4 all had. I'm kind of just floating that out there, but I think it's all 5
Yeah.
chapters.
So me and my friends, we kind of had like a council of like gamer moment where we were like, okay, what's our ruling on this? And we were like, it's the perfect combination of Diablo 2, Diablo 3, and Path of Exile. It's just the way that
I agree with that.
it's just the way you kind of play the game, how smooth it is, the art style, the way the world bosses work is almost like New World-ish, where you don't see the other players in your area until you do the world boss.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
so it's pretty interesting. It's like it's heavily sharded, and I think they did that really well with with WoW, and they're doing it with this game just to save like processing power, not have to have like 80 people in one zone, all that kind of stuff. I think they have so much room to do things with, and as long as they do it right, people are gonna love it. If they start making, like I said, like in the mobile game, where if they start making gems purchasable or ways to advance gems by paying, then it's game over. I will not play this game at all. And the reason being is like this. So this game, every Diablo since Diablo 2 has like this dynamic, right? You can play the single player game, or you can play with your friends and do the story mode, which is pretty long in itself. But as soon as you beat the story mode, you start doing dungeons repetitively, and they're randomly generated with randomly generated enemies and randomly generated bosses. And you start what is known as in the past as pushing keys. If this game does that right, then this Diablo 4 can last a very, very long time.
Is that kind of the charm of the game? Is it expected for you to keep playing after the story mode?
So, yes, Diablo 3 is so big on playing after the story mode that they just started their 28th season last week or 2 weeks ago.
Damn.
And a season, it means all your character progression is gone. Everything is gone. And you beat the actual
Well, that's
game.
only if you play a seasonal character.
Exactly. It's only if you play. Pardon myself. It's only if you play a seasonal character, and all your seasonal characters are saved. You just can't play the same seasonal character the next season.
I'm excited.
So you
for
start off.
this. Like,
Yeah, Chris, have you ever played an action RPG? An ARPG, like a Diablo
Torchlight.
no,
Torchlight.
no.
Wow.
No,
Maybe you
not
should
really.
start with one. Oh my God, you're gonna lose your life. Possibly. It could be.
Yeah, this.
I haven't bought a $90 game before, and that scares me. But it sounds
Well,
awesome from what you're saying.
So the $90 version is so I don't know why it's
90
$90 on PlayStation.
90.
Oh, 90
Canadian.
CAD. That's right.
Which
Yeah,
is still
Don't-
a lot of
90
money.
decals.
Nick.
Yeah.
Nick. Sorry, Chris. Don't start here. play Torchlight 1. You can probably get it for $5.
I think isn't it on Game
$5.50
Pass?
Canadian, and you know,
515 Canadian.
and you and your lady friend can play at the same time.
Yeah, I think
and-
we'd like that. You know, she struggles with well, not struggle. Yeah, struggles is the right word, with the first person making her queasy. But everything top down like Hades, she's really into. So if we could play together, that would be awesome.
Oh, this is
Okay,
top
so
down.
you-
Yeah.
Yeah, this is exactly like Hades, but just imagine like as far as like the way that the game is perceived, like and the way it's played, but as imagine way more customability and not a game where it's a roguelike, but it's just a really long story that kind of fans out, and then the replayability is arguably more than Hades.
Or shit, play
Yeah.
Diablo 3. Just do the campaign, just the story mode. That'll
That's an
put you
option,
right
too.
there. Yeah, that's an option. I'm trying to think
Yeah.
what the best ones are. I mean, like I really
So-
liked what's the one that I talked about at John's house? That's Epoch. But I don't want you to spend that much money. I want you
By
to
the
find
way-
out whether or not you like it.
Thanks
you
for
know,
looking
first.
out for me. Yeah, so Torchlight
Torch-
1.
Yeah.
Torchlight 3 is on Game Pass, by the way.
Okay, cool. Oh, it's
There
also
you go.
75% off on Steam, $10 Canadian. Damn, it's a hot cup of Joe. Let's do
Or
it.
it was on Game Pass. Now you got to buy it. But yeah, buy Torchlight 1. I think you'll probably lose your life to this game if you've never played a Diablo. I'm serious, dude.
Yeah.
I lose my life to a
Like
lot of
it.
games.
Yeah.
It doesn't take a lot. It
It's
just takes
pretty
like a really
It's
good
not
game.
like it's not like marry off your daughter to your like to the Duke of Edinburgh kind of bullshit. Like, but it's more like I gotta keep killing demons and go
Yeah.
people because it's fun to do with my friends.
Smash
Leslie
cut.
loves Diablo. It's amazing.
Smash cut to next week. Chris is like, yeah, I had to delete it from my computer, and then I also threw.
Yeah,
I
right.
threw my I threw my hard drive in the frozen lake that we have in the back.
yeah.
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 So kind of bringing it back a little bit to Diablo 4, it's pretty damn fucking great. Additionally to next week when they have another like open beta, that is when you'll be able to play the Necromancer and the Druid. I wish I would be able to play, but I can't. So Nick, you'll have to check that out.
My main, I think, will most likely be so. I have a homie that plays Barbarian. I have a homie that always plays like the Rogue class. I'm most likely going to play Druid because my other friend is going because it's a party of 4. You can play 1, 2, 4. So 1, 2, 3, or
You
4.
want a Necromancer, buddy? That's what I always
I
play.
mean, I used to play the Witch Doctor, which was like the Necromancer-ish of Diablo 3, but I think I'm going to go Druid because my other buddy's going to play Necromancer.
Oh,
so
nice.
we're all going to actually try to play together because we all play the beginning of the game. But the fact that so many people are getting so much out of it on the first weekend is pretty telling, especially if you have like limited amount of time. This game will last you quite a while.
I saw the character creator and I was like kind of sold on just social media. I love character creators. I spend so long in character creation. And
I love them too. This one's great.
yeah.
By
What's-
default, it's if there's a necromancer in a game that's my top pick on anything ever. Then after that would be like a ranger with a pet, and then after that probably a barbarian.
Mine
Yeah.
would be Necro and then Druid and then Ranger. And then
The druid looks
Sorcerer.
sick in this game.
Dude,
to,
the
Yeah.
his
Druid,
moveset.
oh man, he
Just
looks
bring
like a
back the Druid
magey
at
barbarian.
2. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
God,
he looks like he just gets in there and then fucks shit up, or he can damage shit with like lightning bolts from everywhere. Like it's crazy.
Guys.
It just looks good. I just can't wait to play it.
is Diablo 4 gonna be good, guys? Like,
I hope.
Looking, it's looking.
hope
It may-
so.
it may
I
be
don't even want to
Blizzard's,
say
like,
it.
Last fucking like claw to not be the shitter company that
I
it
know.
has been for the past fucking 5 years.
But what were you saying,
just
Nick?
can-
Like they might put some pay to win stuff in it or pay to. I'm
No,
confused
what I'm
about
saying
that.
is, so what it is, okay, so after you beat the game, right, there's that replayable aspect, which is like the other half of the game. In the mobile game, they made it so that you can pay to level up these things called gems. Now, gems and are kind of like in every kind of RPG. It's like, oh, you can attack faster, or this gem will give you +5 strength. But in Diablo, there's legendary gems, and they'll start to change your abilities. Like maybe you'll have an ability where your barbarian will spin around in a circle and hit everything around him. But if you have a legendary gem for that ability, you'll start shooting out tornadoes, right? And you've been able to level up legendary gems in the past in 3 and in the mobile game. But in the mobile game, you could pay to make that leveling up more fast. You can make it instant even, and you can just become insanely strong just by paying to win.
So
right?
it is
And
pay to win then.
No, Diablo, the mobile game was.
Right. But
The-
you're
the
saying
third
if they
one
It is a
was not.
mobile game.
But you're saying if they
Yeah.
put that in this game, that would ruin it kind of for you.
That would ruin the game,
Right.
100%. Because it's just the whole point of it. Like in Diablo 3, I've been in the top 100 players for my class in my country, in one of the seasons, and it's very
Damn.
rewarding to get to that point. I mean, I was playing like 8 hours a day, 7 hours a day. It's fucking, I can't do that shit no more. But what I'm saying is it takes away that fun when you realize, oh man, all this fucking grinding's for nothing when I can pay $30 to level up my gem instantly.
It takes
you
the
know?
fun out of it for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna float this out there. I don't know if it's worth how often do things on battle.net go on sale? It's not very often,
like
right?
never,
Never,
dude.
right?
I think it's
Yeah,
Christmas and
never.
Chinese New Year. That's it.
I'm almost
Damn.
gonna. It's a possibility that just you're gonna get so much with just the campaign and all the characters that it might be worth it for that. I mean, I'm not saying that it is. Obviously, I haven't played it that much or anything, but I think it's a possibility if they do everything right that you'll have enough content and work that's been put into the game that it might constitute a $70 game. I mean, I've never seen anything like that. They have a fully rendered model and then they zoom out, and it's
Seamless.
It's
Seamless. It's
crazy.
usually when you have usually in Diablos, by the way, Sniper, you never see your character's face. You're just wearing a helmet, you're running around, you're blowing shit up. This, you actually make your character and they zoom into it. You have cutscenes, they're all fully rendered. Like it's pretty gnarly. I would say if you
pretty
want more
nice.
interest into like the world of Diablo, like what has been in the past in the lore or in it, whatever, just like a little dab, like a little taste of acid. I would say watch the opening cutscene. Just go on YouTube, look up Diablo 4 cutscene. I think it's 12 minutes long. Like it's pretty fucking long.
I'm not honestly a big cutscene guy like you are. Like I can appreciate it, but what's selling me more is kind of just the look and feel of the game. You know, like I like how it looks.
I will say
So
Blizzard is the Pixar of
Cutscenes.
video
They,
game
yeah,
cutscenes.
exactly.
They're
They are
number one.
Actually, I'm
It-
kind of
it-
with you too, Sniper. I'm not always the biggest fan of cutscenes. I'm kind of like, just let me in. I want to fucking play. And so usually I don't want to like sit there and watch 12 minutes of something, but it is good. Like it's definitely enjoyable. And I mean, it's certainly like it's very pretty. It's done really, really well. Fastidious was playing it on a 4K monitor, and he said that it was such a treat and like just absolutely stunning in 4K.
Nice.
For anybody that has that, so like that is really cool. But to me, it's always been about like the hack and slash of playing, and it's fun. That feels fantastic too. I don't think you'll get annoyed or bored or like frustrated at the cinematic.
Oh no, I don't.
aspect
I
of
usually
it.
just skip them because I'm so excited to play the game. Like that's. But
I mean, obviously, you can't play the game until next week. So if you want to kill 12 minutes,
Yeah.
watch
That's
watch
facts,
that
actually,
cutscene
yeah.
because it'll get you into it. You'll be like, "Damn, some hardcore shit." I kind of want to play
I'm
this game.
scared. I don't want to lose my life. Okay, thanks for sherping me through Diablo, people. I appreciate
All right,
it.
and now a word from our sponsor, us. So I bought a shirt, or Sam bought me a shirt that I didn't know she had bought, and I thought we made a bunch of sales. Actually, we had made some sales, guys. Other than that, it's cool. People are buying shirts. It's awesome. I won't say that it's Mortal Kombat, but it is a 2D fighting inspired game or shirt.
That looks pretty amazing.
Yeah, that
catch
is
the
pretty
drip,
cool.
Everybody, catch the drip.
That's
Drip,
what we
drip.
call DLG drip.
Yeah. So anytime you want to look as cool as I do, you can go ahead and pick that up at dlgaming.net.
What I will say, okay, as a official third party, and that's now first party, Emilio has never had style ever in his life. He's never ever once wore nice clothing, but as soon as he puts on that DLG shirt, I'm like, dude, he's the greatest uncle in the world.
Yeah, it's true. It's all true.
It's the greatest uncle.
So buy a shirt, become the greatest uncle or aunt or whatever, and show some love.
Hey Nick, how about you
What's that?
run listener questions since Bobby is 1
Well,
pixel?
Bobby's come back from 1 pix. He looks great. I wonder if he sounds great. You know, looks pretty stable over there.
Yeah, I don't know. Trust.
Nope,
Trust me.
immediately.
It's a false flag. False flag.
Okay.
It's a plant.
Bobby just came from the river Styx. You're like, look, he's fine. He's not drowning. And he comes up and he's a skeleton.
This is fine.
Oh my god.
All right. So this is the end of the show where we go over listener questions. You can always submit a listener question through our Discord if you have any funny questions for us. If your question is too gnarly to air, sometimes we will bundle those questions and put them in a Not Safe for Work episode and discuss them there.
For our
First,
Patreons.
for our Patreons.
Patrons,
They're-
I believe. Sorry. Just
Patrons.
a little nitpick.
Okay. Our first question is by Pyronical. I see a bookshelf behind Sniper. What is the middle shelf? Fourth book from the right, page 192, second sentence.
Okay. 1 sec. You can ask the next question and I'll come back with it.
We have False Josiah. What's your bathroom song? Like when I'm making the urine at work, I like to sing 16 tons. Kind of seems appropriate for how many hours I work.
That's a good one.
I'm not a musical person, unfortunately.
Yeah, Bobby. Yeah. I knew that was coming. Bathroom song. I mean, it's most of the time as bad as it sounds, like 90s house music or early 2000s metal.
It's fun. That's a good one.
Yeah.
For me, it would be like usually. So Spotify at the end of the year, right, tells you like what you listen to the most and what your genre is. And so the bulk of my music apparently goes under the category of vaporwave, whatever the fuck that is.
Yeah.
It's basically though like kind of house and lo-fi in a sense as well. There's this song that I played all the time though when I was taking a shower. And it's just called I'm a Party. And there's like I'm a party inside of my head. And the whole song is about not wanting to go out because you are your own party in your house.
Amanda, that sounds like the perfect song for you. That sounds like your Pledge of Allegiance every morning. It's like,
That's
I'm
why
a
it's my
party
bathroom song.
in my head.
That's why it's my bathroom song. Yeah.
Sniper, because Emilio's not here and he's currently chasing his family. What's your bathroom song?
Oh, I thought he went to pee. I thought it was like really topical. I don't have a bathroom
there we go.
song. I'm there to do business and I'm out. I have a,
Wow.
You don't listen to anything when you shower or anything?
You're
no,
gonna be playing its
You
business.
have a bathroom
time on the
podcast,
golf
maybe?
I don't have a bathroom
Yeah.
podcast.
Bathroom book on tape.
I do have a bathroom. I do have a bathroom book for when I'm taking a shit. Like I like to read. It's like a free book at the end of the
Bukowski.
year. Like after 12 months, you're like, I read one extra book. That's nice.
Nice.
I listen whatever podcast I'm listening to. I usually, well, not usually, but sometimes I'll play a podcast during. I don't listen. Somebody the other day was like, what kind of music do you listen to?" I was like, "Podcasts. That's my genre of music. Like that's all I ever listen to, and it's great in the shower."
Emilio's one of those people that he doesn't listen to music. So if you find a good song and you share it to Emilio, he'll be like, "That's really awesome. I'm done listening to it." That's it.
Yeah.
Wait, this wasn't what song you listen to. It was what song you sing. When he's making the urine at work, he likes to sing.
And it just says, "What's your bathroom song?" Right?
Oh, but do you
yeah.
guys sing as you poo or pee?
No.
You don't have a. You
I
don't,
take
you don't
a
have.
shower.
I'm a
Yeah.
parent. If I make any noise in the bathroom, my kid's gonna want to fucking kick the door down to join me.
You don't have a tingle jingle. Crazy. Okay, so
Hey,
I
that's pretty
do,
good.
I sing.
So-
there's a few songs that I'll sing.
the book is
Whatever I'm in the mood
Champions of the Force by Kevin J. Anderson. Because I'm a Star Wars nerd, I got them all on deck. And the sentence is, "I'm heading towards the prison," Lando said. "That fortress should have withstood the attack from space."
That makes
Wow.
complete sense. It would be a Star Wars book.
Yeah, it should have.
Yeah, that was pretty good. That was. I like that Pyronical. Keep those coming.
This
Hey
is
Nick,
Good one.
here's a. So, fuck. Who is the guy who produces all the music? He produces.
Dr. Dre, Pharrell.
He did Serge Tankian. What is that?
System of a Down.
Yeah, System of a Down. So they're
Yeah.
doing, their number one song, right?
Chop Suey.
Wake up. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he got to a certain point in the song, and they're trying to record it, and he's like, I don't know what to write here. I have no idea what to do. And the guy who he produces Chili Peppers.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Stuff guy. Yeah, old white guy, big beard, Santa Claus looking guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, go over there and pick a book. So he picks a book and he goes, pick a page and pick a chapter. And he does it all. And that's the whole, when that song slows down, he goes, why have you forsaken
That's from a book.
me? That's from a book
That's
on
from
the
a
wall
Oh my
while
God.
they're recording.
That's hilarious.
And
That's
it's
great.
killer.
That's
It
awesome.
seems like it was, yeah.
I've been going to stand up, and that's like a bit. Like they'll take a random book, and then that the scene will start with that dialogue, and it usually works awesome. Like,
Yeah.
That's good.
For those
Are
who
you going to do stand-up, Christian?
I've been thinking about it. I'd go to this
You
like
should, man.
tiny group, and just testing it out right now, but we'll see.
I think everybody thinks about it, dude, but like nothing is stopping you right now. This
unless
is
you
the time
live
to
unless
do
you
it.
live in a fucking comedy drought town that doesn't have an open mic night.
Is that where you live, Nick?
Yeah, I do. Trust me, I've been wanting to do stand up for years, but there's nothing here.
Yeah.
Well, it's a
The
thing you
stand
moved
up
to
the
Texas.
quote unquote stand up club that's near me is a stripper club that is known for infamous infamous dancers.
What about when
And-
where are you moving? Is there a
In San Antonio, yeah, there's so many stand up clubs in San Antonio.
So if you don't do it by this time next year, you're a fucking hypocrite.
Yeah, we
So
can
no,
all
I'll
Better
probably
go
do it. I'll probably record it just to make everybody laugh. I'll invite everybody else.
Great.
That'd be awesome.
Nice.
Cool.
All right, next question we have from King Tayron, aka Sniper. I love watching you guys live, listening to the show while I work, and harassing Nick on YouTube. My question is, can you guys make a schedule so that people that watch the live show know when you're coming on? Lately, the show has been all over the place. Well, King Tayron, or Tyron, whatever the fuck you want to be called.
It's
we're
kind of
working
like,
on-
hey guys, love the show. Can you get your shit together?
It's exactly what this is. We appreciate the honesty. We are using a new platform. We're trying to get everything to work. We have it's a little bit more difficult when we have cast members that move or cast members that are in the process of like large live events. We always have Bobby and Emilio as the core cast members. They are the one, and Sniper as well. He's a producer, obviously. But Bobby and Emilio are always around. I don't think Bobby has ever missed an episode.
Thanks. Well, once for France.
Yeah, except for France.
France.
Where we baked.
Yeah, we didn't
baked
record
in
anything.
episodes.
We did recordings. We are trying to get things together. I think in the next probably 2-3 months, we will get things set in stone. We'll have a specific time. We'll start doing the cast or try to get on the cast. When you deal with the internet and podcasting, there's always an issue, right? But we do release our podcast the same time, not live. I believe, is it Tuesday?
Tuesday.
Or what?
Yep, Tuesday, 6 a.m.
Tuesday.
Same time for years and years and years.
Bobby
It
Old
used to be on
Reliable.
Monday.
Bobby Old
Used
Reliable.
to be on Mondays. We switched it to Tuesdays. Monday's always a terrible day to do anything. Mondays and Fridays, you never want to do anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as the live show goes, I thought we were going to commit to 12:30 p.m.
Yeah.
PST, but we've kind of been bouncing around a lot. And
Sometimes Emilio
you know,
has
it's,
to work, right?
it's tough when you get 5 people and you're trying to make everyone's schedule work. It's
Across
just
3
always-
time zones, right? Or
Exactly. And
Yeah.
what's nice about when I do move to San Antonio, or me and my family moves to San Antonio, is that we will be closer and the time difference will be less, which will be a lot more easier to work around and things like that. But yeah,
I thought you were central now and you're going to central then.
I am fucking East Coast right now, Doug. I'm Georgia.
Georgia. When I flew over
Yeah.
that place, I was surprised how shitty it looked. Anyway,
No comment. Wait, I'm not in the military anymore. This place fucking sucks.
I was amazed how I was like, damn, this looks like a dump from.
I think that's why they hit a military base here. They're just like, you know what? No one's gonna fucking bomb this shithole. It already looks bombed.
Yep, and Eastern time zone sucks. It's hard. It's brutal.
Yeah.
Was anybody else
East
let
Coast.
down by the last episode of The Last of Us?
No, I haven't watched it.
I haven't watched it.
Wow.
I would. Yep.
All right.
I played the game 4 times and I 100%ed it, so I know what happens for sure.
No, that's the thing, dude. Well, first of all, I know what happens, so that kind of takes away the bang out of
The shock, exactly.
Yeah, for sure. The shock's gone. I expected that, but I felt like they could have made that hit so much harder, and they did such a good job. You know what? It started at 10, and it just went down to a 7 by the end of the season.
You know what's funny is that a lot of people were discussing that on Reddit, right? But a lot of people that played the game and watched the show is that in the show they kind of made the decision that Joel makes and the decision not to say things to certain people and the ideas of what the person that is trying to make the opposite decision is Joel. They all refer to the way that they think and the way that they think should go, but they never ask the person that is actually being affected by their decisions. Does that make sense? That is the crux of the episode. Everybody's trying to do their own shit, but the main character of the game or the show, nobody asks what she wants. Nobody tells her what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And when it's finally one of the ultimate decisions for her, for the other characters, nobody asks what she wants, and that's what makes the last episode actually really good, and the game too. But in the TV show, they kind of make that more apparent.
Yeah.
So.
Whatever your mustache situation is, I like it. This is the best version of that we've had.
See, I was at
Fu Manchu almost.
I was going at pedophile mustache, and now I'm going Fu Manchu. So
yeah. I like the Fu Manchu. You want to stay away from the pedo.
Well, yeah, everybody should stay away from pedos.
Yeah.
So you want to read off the next question there?
Yeah.
Keep it moving.
Hingle McCringleberry, curious. What do you consider the hardest part about running a podcast? Getting everybody on at the same time and no technical fucking issues. Like today.
Yes.
There's your answer. Anybody else want to comment?
Listen, Sniper just really has to apologize to everybody about this episode. It's been a rough one.
It's actually all his fault. He sapped Bobby's internet. He bombed the fucking satellite that's giving Amanda hotspot Wi-Fi.
Right. Yeah. Well, I feel like it's kind of like we're all riding on a bus and we're actively watching the bus just get into a car accident in slow-mo, just being like, yeah.
You know what's tough is knowing that we're so much better than this, because we had the other style dialed in, and we know this is just going to take some episodes to fucking smooth out.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody listening to this for the first time is like, who are these yahoos? Goodbye.
Why do they have over 1,000 episodes? And
yeah. Exactly.
There's definitely been some shiner episodes where holy fuck, it's hilarious from start to end. This is not one of them, and this is not going to be the standard across the future, but we will make things better. We promise. And if we don't, Emilio will shave his beard.
Yeah, sure.
Next question is Hingle McCringleberry. Additionally, do you ever think that it would turn into this community? Were there any challenges building this as well? I mean, that's more of a Bobby and Emilio question.
That's a great Bobby and Emilio question. Yeah.
So Discord came. Oh, jeez.
Like
2015. Discord changed everything.
Yeah,
Discord built the community. It's the reason that this podcast is what it is now. In fact, the community is the better part of this whole thing that we do.
Don't listen to us. Just go to the fucking Discord and have fun.
Yeah.
Every time you finish an episode of The Last of Us, they have their companion episode podcast that they try to push, and I'm like, I feel like that's what we are to the Discord community, like a companion podcast. You know what I mean?
To the Discord.
Yeah, but the Discord itself, it took some what do you call it?
Growing pains.
Yeah, some growing pains through there.
Some bumps in the road that I remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but people like Amanda and Christian and some other key members of the community definitely built that Discord and made it to what it is today. And it was one of those things when I went to DLG Con, and I haven't always been a cast member. At first, I started as a guy that just talked about DayZ a lot 7 years ago. And I was maybe on the show 4 times a year to now being on the show half the time. And I will say that the amount of support from the community is immense. going to DLG Con and actually putting a face to everybody and talking to people really changed the way I looked at internet communities. There's so many different types of people and different walks of life that video games brings us all together. And that's why we talk about them on the internet every Sunday and then release it on every Tuesday. It's because we love what we do and we share a common interest. And, we try not to talk about things that get people heated. We actively kind of talk to people to make sure that if they do that, we kind of settle things down and make sure it's all about peace and love and video games and people like Christian and Amanda, and Diddy and a bunch of other people. There's a whole list of at least 20 people that have been running that fucking Discord very well and supporting each other. So
there's so many shitty gaming communities out there, and it's just like so cool that this isn't one of them. I mean, it could easily have not have been that way, Like,
yeah.
Not only was that the best thing you've ever said on this episode, dude, but that was the best thing you've ever said. Period. That was I can't add to it. Bobby, you follow that.
Yeah, I don't know if I can. Yeah, it was I don't know, the Discord definitely changed things. And I remember we would record our episodes on Discord and people would jump into a channel and listen to us live in Discord. And then eventually we went to Twitch. And Twitch was nice when we finally started doing that and doing it regularly. Like, that was another big step, but still nothing compares to Discord. That was also when we kind of got, I would call it big, but bigger. And as far as like challenges in building the community, I think there was definitely a point where there was a fork in the road. We got so big and the community kind of blew up, and always there's going to be drama, right? And we needed to figure out, we need to make a decision, like, are we going to allow this, or where do we draw a line? So we had to draw some lines, and some people did not care for that and left, and some people stayed. And
it's not even that crazy. It was like we got rid of the politics channel, and then we said, don't what was the way you put it? Don't be a dick.
Yeah, it was all very reasonable stuff, like, don't post videos of you banging your wife in our Discord. Racist stuff. I mean, it's all pretty stuff that sounds pretty normal, but this was like 2016. Those were weird times, right? So people were just like, I'm being censored, this isn't cool, you guys used to be cool. And I was like, well, we got.
It's all one person. It's one person, guys.
There were a couple people. Yeah.
There were a couple people. Amount, But yeah, I mean, and it's fine, man. It's like no bad feeling. I think some people eventually came back too, but it was just like there was a point where it was real like punk rock DIY at first, and then you always reach a point where it's just like you got to do some of the dirty work and you got to get involved, even though you want to be really hands off. You've got to be like, sorry, you can't do that here. You got to have some rules.
Could you imagine like what Elon Musk is dealing with right now? Because he's dealing with like he bought the whole thing and he's trying to do hands off with millions
dude's
of people.
Posting like 14,000 times a day.
You call that hands off? Bro, more like a finger in every fucking pie.
You can unsubscribe from him and block him and still see his tweets, dog. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
hands off. He's hands in. Not even hands on.
He's fully fisted, dude. And there's like,
he's fucking elbow deep.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like in regards to our community, though, that like even though like the ban hammering and like kind of like behavioral curtailing is very hands off, but I would argue that a lot of people and a lot of us are hands-on and like communicate as well with the community a lot as well. Like I remember, to me, I joined the community first and then listened to the podcast after and then worked my way up basically from there. And so it was always like kind of about the community, and I love our community because I agree with Christian. I think that a lot of gaming communities are really toxic and shitty, and we really do have quite a gem of a community. And if that isn't enough of a plug to go to dlgaming.net and join our Discord, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, you'll never do it. You'll never fucking do it.
And I have never figured this out, and I feel like I'll never know the answer. But, well, I guess the answer is that like PC gamers generally play one game and they have like two side hoes on the side. maybe.
And very
maybe
rarely
one.
it changes.
Yeah.
Very rarely it changes.
Yeah,
Exactly.
they don't change very much. So
Mhm.
that's why we don't have a ton of people playing games together. They talk a bunch, and there's a lot of like
Interaction.
camaraderie and yeah, all that stuff. It's almost like a chat room more than that. Like as far as playing video games, there's like Cup and Gummy with whoever he chooses, and that's it.
But you can always find somebody that's playing the same thing that you are. There's over 700 members active on the Discord that we have, and join, say hello, and I guarantee you, as soon as you get into the fucking the Discord, you're gonna see like 12 welcome messages, and like at least 7 of them are coming from Amanda. So,
yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, there has been some growing pains. There will be some growing pains, and there's always going to be growing pains as long as we grow.
We're in a great place on Discord. We're in a terrible place in the podcast right now. It just so happens to be. Yeah. All right, what's next?
We have another third question from Hingle McCringleberry. Say that 10 times fast. Hingle McCringleberry. What is your favorite cereal growing up? And also, what is a smell you can't stand? My favorite cereal growing up was Captain Crunch peanut butter. And then a smell that I can't stand is just like extreme like old urine smell. I used to I know that's a weird it's a weird answer. It's really niche and it's really accurate. I have a thing with like old people and dude, when I mean like old people, I mean like geriatric.
Save your hatred for your own time, dude.
No,
for some reason
it
sounded like you said P, comma people. Like there was like people. You know what I mean? Like
old people. No, what it is like I used to do a lot of volunteer work, and I used to go around.
You talking about my mom right now, dude? Is that what's going on?
Your mom's a saint, all right. First of all. Second of all, I used to do a lot of volunteer work. I used to be pretty active in the Catholic Church and stuff like that. And I used to go to a lot of like elderly homes, and the smell. I can't even fucking say it right because it bothers me so much. The smell of stale urine from like an older person, especially diabetic
on
urine,
drugs on this episode,
is fucking gnarly. I had an uncle who was diabetic who passed away like in his 40s, and he became like immobile essentially, and he would smell like stale urine, and like that like stale urine gives me a fucking PTSD. I used to do room inspections while I was in the Navy. There were people that piss in fucking jugs and bottles and keep it under their bed, and that shit smelled so fucking bad.
That's disgusting.
But fresh urine, you're okay, right?
I mean, fresh urine's going down the toilet because that shit's mine. I ain't smelling nobody's fresh urine.
He takes that shit straight to the face.
Fresh urine.
My favorite cereal was Cookie Crisp growing up. I like that one. That was my favorite. I don't eat cereal anymore though. That shit's pure sugar, man. I can't do
No,
it.
dude, cereal is terrible for you.
Cereal's fucking. I think I turned like 8 or something and was like, "Fuck this." It's like, I don't know. I haven't been eating cereal for the longest time, but it was Cookie Crisp when I really liked it.
Oh,
And,
AKA
well, it was more of
not
the knockoff
breakfast.
one. It was,
Dude,
it
that's
was
like
the
the
it was
worst
whatever
cereal.
the great value like Walmart. Like, it was the knockoff of it. And I can't remember the fucking name.
Cookie spelled with a K. Crisp is like 3 S's in it.
Yeah, pretty much. Or maybe they put a Z at the end of it, so it's crisps.
Crisps.
But anyway,
Smell you can't
smell that I
stand.
can't
Dying
really
maple trees.
stand.
Dying maple trees.
No, it's probably formalin, formaldehyde. Like it just burns my whole fucking sinuses and like gives me a headache usually. And like right now, the assignment that I'm in Pittsburgh, like we've got I think it's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday we have to dump and like replace like formalin, and I'm just like, ugh, I just kind of try and get somebody else to do it because I don't like doing that one. So formalin sucks. It just smells bad. Or like if sometimes in some of the hospitals I've been at, they'll have like a diabetic leg. It's so savage. It's straight up like
The
a
rest of
fucking
them is
trash
normal,
can.
and only their leg is diabetic.
No, well, so sometimes with diabetes, like somebody might have to have their leg amputated. So like we do,
Yeah, like do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so like in the pathology lab, in a lot of places, especially hospitals, they'll just be like, it sounds so bad and savage, but there will be like trash can of legs. And
Oh my God.
that can smell really bad if somebody doesn't toss that shit out like after, because typically we have to hold on to like tissue for a certain amount of time in case anybody needs to go back and like kind of revisit it. Like say like a patient has like a recurring cancer like a year after, they would want to look at that previous year and see what happened with that cancer to maybe have that impact what the treatment will be for the new cancer that they found, because sometimes they're related and linked and things like that. With a foot though, like an amputated leg, not so much. It's just kind of to like keep it in case you need it for anything or like any legal reasons, but like they typically will hold on to it for like a few weeks and then it's gotta go.
Guys, we gotta declutter the lab. What are we gonna get rid of? The box of foots.
Well, there's been a lab I've been at where like nobody wanted to discard the legs, and then it'd start to smell like death everywhere, and then it'd be like, we have to get rid of the legs, like we have to. And so that one was brutal.
Listen,
it's not too often that I'm working in a lab that just has like a trash can of legs, but like that's happened probably 2 or 3 times. So like it's not nothing either. Like it happens.
Whoever's dealing with the smell longer and doing good science has a leg up on the competition. That's all I'm saying.
Fuck you, dude.
Fuck up. What's your favorite cereal, bitch?
Yeah, what was your favorite cereal?
It's such a weird combination of questions because it's like favorite cereal,
don't go together.
Or smell, and then it's like the transition from legs in a bucket to favorite cereal.
Yeah.
But Fruity Pebbles when I was real small, and I used to always complain of how small that box was. It was the thinnest box on the shelf, and I was heavy eater. I was a heavy eater. And then I am a heavy eater. I have to come to terms with that. Okay, so and then I transitioned to basic 4, which is like an adult, like 4 food groups. That was the thing. You get your 4 food groups in this one cereal. And at like 9, I transitioned to this, and it was like $7 a box, and it came in the thin box, and I'm eating 1 a day. It was a battle.
Dude, that's why you're so big and strong. You ate your 4 food groups.
Yeah.
Which they don't even have the 4 food groups anymore. They got rid of that in the 90s.
It,
now it's like that food pyramid.
It's a food wheel. It's a food like rainbow now. It's crazy. I mean, it's cool. It's crazy.
I subscribe
it's
to
a
the
fucking
Diablo
IV talent tree.
I want my dodecahedron.
Yeah, it all says eat as much as you can every quarter. Anyway, and smell I can't stand. When I was working in grocery store, stocking shelves at night, certain pallets would have certain smells, and you already knew what it was. Unfortunately, it's like really bad. So, it's a whole pallet of food. So you're talking about like about 2,000 pounds of food, and certain things can happen within that pallet, and you'll know right away when you're moving it. And the worst one is a breached can of cat food, because that breached can of cat food will be infested with maggots, and you can't even what's crazy about it is like you still need to get to all the good food and avoid this one tiny piece of bad food, but you have to deal with all the smell the entire time, and it's a real drag. So Bobby, what's your favorite cereal? You know what I mean? Like it's a weird
transition.
I'll start with my favorite, or a smell I don't like.
There you
because
go.
I feel like your guys' answers are not that great. I mean, it's like pretty obvious, right? Decomposing bodies, urine, rotting maggot-infested cat food.
No,
it's like,
to be fair, I started with formalin. All right, formalin or formaldehyde. Okay, and then I transitioned to the dead bodies because nobody likes the smell of
real bugaboo of mine. Dead body legs, decomposing body legs, and maggot-infested cat food. Just call me crazy. I just don't like it, man.
Call me
that's me. That's me. You do you. My smell that I can't stand, I mean, there's a bunch of them, but here's a weird cocoa butter. Cannot stand it. Oh my God.
Interesting.
If I smell that, I'll throw it away, man. I don't care if it's like in someone's house. Like, nope, you're not smelling like that. That's terrible.
That's I've
Wait, you
never
go
heard
to
of
people's houses and throw away
Yeah,
their
I
cocoa
break
butter?
into their houses and I throw away their cocoa butter.
Not on my watch.
The city is safe. He's like cocoa
Bobby just
butter
alienated
Batman.
so many fucking people right now.
Oh man,
my
yeah, I do not like it. It is an offensive smell to me.
Damn.
Favorite cereal? I love cereal. Would eat it all the time, every day if I could, but it's so terrible for you. I haven't had cereal in decades, probably since I was a little kid. Not because I don't like it, but just because it's like so much sugar. So literally any cereal. But my favorite, I think, was Raisin Nut Brand, which you wouldn't think
That
is like
doesn't-
super sugary or anything, but it is. And it's like bran flakes with nuts and raisins, but the raisins are covered in like this dough or something. I don't know. It was super good. And it felt like more of a meal than regular cereal. I loved all cereal. Oh my God, dude. I would pour myself a big old bowl of cereal. Just
Most of the cells in my body were built from cereal. Like I grew up on
And now
cereal
it's
as
just
well.
bowls of soy.
But I will say, if I was going to go down potpourri, I hate it. It's offensive to me as well. Hate potpourri.
Oof.
yeah, it's
Sniper, do you have anything you'd like to
Amazing.
add to this moment?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really eat cereal growing up, but I did have a lot of oatmeal, and I had those little dino eggs that dissolved, and then
Oh, I love those.
yeah, and I would with my fork, I'd like make a little scene. Land Before Time was one of my favorite shows, and so I wouldn't eat
Me
a lot of
too.
it, and then it got to the point where I wouldn't eat it because I didn't want to eat my little dino friends, and then we stopped having that oatmeal because it made me sad. Oh, yeah.
Oof. All right, next question. We have False Josiah. Yes, I brought Metronomicon, a great rhythm game name, because it had a Jimmy Urine song. Have you ever bought a game because of the music in it? Not really. I've tried games because of music in it, like that metal shooter that had System of a Down in it and a couple other
yeah.
things. I
Did
mean, if
you
you want to
like
get,
that?
I
Metal
mean, I liked it,
Hellfinger?
but I discovered something. I do not like rhythm shooters.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
That's just me. I don't know why. I would think I do because I love music and I love shooters, but I don't know. It's like mixing grilled cheeses and like ketchup. Oh, actually, no, that does make sense. That is tasty. It's like mixing grilled cheeses and like chocolate cake. It just doesn't mix to me.
You're
at
fat,
least.
dude. Everything's tasty.
You're not wrong.
Jesus Christ.
Jeez. All right. Well,
What about you guys?
I mean, I
I
typically
mean-
turn the music off in my games, so no.
Bobby's like no
In
joy.
fact, when I reinstalled on my new computer, I reinstalled Deep Rock Galactic, and I hadn't turned the music off yet. And I was like, wow, this is really good. And it picks up when there's a lot of action. I was like, wow, they did a real good job with this. Never noticed that before because I
And
always had the
then-
music off.
And then you just
And
turned
then
it
turned
off.
it right
Yeah.
back off.
Yeah, turn it back off.
You're like,
Yep.
this is good, but enough for me. I think a cop out answer is like Rock Band. Did everyone go through a Rock Band Guitar Hero phase? Like,
oh, for
Oh, yeah.
sure.
Yeah,
I
you
was
can
super
turn
every
into
single
that.
game. Yeah, I did.
yeah.
Yeah, but I was down for that. I mean, I don't know. To me, the game that I got recently, but I feel like I got fucking duped was Hi-Fi Rush. Because like I know Emilio loved it, but I was so excited to like play this game to like the Black Keys and a bunch of other good music, and it was just like basically 4 fucking songs that you recognize, and the whole rest of the game was bullshit that they made.
Muzak.
Like, bleh, didn't like it. Oh yeah, Muzak. Yeah, exactly. And so they get you in with the Black Keys, and I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta get something for that. And it's just the tutorial that you played it, and everything else, the music is garbage.
Well, Josiah, it's a weird question because like, who knows what music is going to be in the game before the game comes out? Like that's a rare bit of information. that-
Unless the music's part of a game, like a rhythm game.
Right. Yeah, like promoting it as a big part. So that doesn't happen very often. A question that I did ask at a dinner party when I was in Iowa was, what game music have you listened to outside of the game. Like you went and like sought it out and listened to it outside of the game. And 3 of the 4 people agreed that like we had all listened to some Skyrim outside of Skyrim. And then my answer individually was Bastion. There's a song on Bastion that
Great
I could
soundtrack.
not get. Yeah, I could not get enough of. Like the Build a Wall or whatever that
Yeah,
song is.
that's
It's not called Build a Wall.
Yeah, I think
It's
it
not
is.
called Build a Wall. I don't even think the name has a wall in the name, dude. But maybe.
He's fact checking now.
Yeah, build
Yeah.
build that wall. It's
Build
one of
That
my
Wall.
favorite
That
songs
wall.
too. Yeah, I love.
Dude, I
it.
love that song,
Yeah.
dude. That her sultry voice is Anyway, what songs have you guys listened to outside of the game itself?
Everyone. I love video game original soundtracks. That's what I do my work to. I just find I can like zone out really easily on them.
You're gonna obviously know this answer, Warhammer stuff, but if you're not putting me in a bubble, I would say Doom music. I used to listen to it a lot. I'm a big metal guy, and that shit slaps.
Yeah, I don't know if I've listened to much outside of the game. There's a few tracks here and there, but a lot of times the music in a game is licensed music too. It's not original as well. But as far as like gaming, that's typically what I look for. But like game scores, not really any.
For me, definitely Elder Scrolls. I also gotta say, Christian, you have no idea how much it warmed my heart at your wedding reception when all of a sudden like an Elder Scrolls theme, I think it was Morrowind,
Yeah,
started playing,
Secunda.
and I was just like, oh my god, I love this. Like,
yeah. Whatever the music is when you enter Balmora for the first time, like that really ambient. Yeah, we had that. But I also had like Rome Total War. Dude, my wedding was. I was like, it was for me, right? Or me and
it was the
Rianne.
most beautiful gamer wedding
Yeah.
you guys could imagine. It was awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I love that. I love the Elder Scrolls music outside, both the Skyrim and definitely Morrowind, of course, too.
Hey, Christian.
Hey.
You're the producer, and I hate to put you on the spot. Can we exit this episode with Build a Wall?
Yeah,
Is that
I have
something
it
we could
up.
do?
I think
Oh,
so.
dude.
Is
You're the goddamn
Twitch going to
man,
mute
dude.
that?
Bobby, why do you have to come down with your goddamn judgments?
We've got to do Riverside audio this time, okay? Because everyone sounded like shit and had internet problems.
Well, I don't know if that's going to improve with
It
downloading
should.
the audio from
It
Riverside.
will. It's locally recorded. Why do you hate me? Why do you? Okay. All right.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
All right. Last question. Dark Cheetos. Curious, if you could wipe your mind and replay any game like it was your first time, what game would it be and why? I mean, I kind of have an answer that is tied for the two of them. It's definitely Mass Effect 2 and Metal Gear Solid 3. Just the excitement of playing Metal Gear Solid 3 and being surprised by the game is just the whole, thing about me being a Metal Gear Solid fan and stuff like that. But Mass Effect 2 was my first ever Mass Effect game. And at the time, I wasn't that big into sci-fi stuff. And that just brought me into the universe of like sci-fi and like alternative futures and things like that. So it's pretty cool.
I know I was late to the old Elder Scrolls thing because my first Elder Scrolls was Skyrim. So it would be Skyrim for me because I had never seen that amount of freedom in a game. Just go. You're free like a bird, like whatever you want. And I'm like, what do you mean? What if I go left instead of right? Obviously, there's a path down this mountain, but what? I'm not going to use it. So I went down some other way and I found this lady that lived in a hut and we had a great life together. You know what I mean? It's like, it's insane. Like, how can you build a game with that many very branching paths? Yeah, it would definitely be Skyrim.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd think maybe mine would be Morrowind. The first time I played Morrowind, I was sitting with my buddy who was playing like halfway through it on Xbox, and I wouldn't say that. For me, my if I could replay from like the beginning and do it all over again, and this might be quite the hot take, but I would say Fallout 76. Because hear me out. So
Whoa,
when that
whoa,
game was
dude.
released, I was one of the first people that got into it, and I feel like, especially in terms of the lore, what they were going for, which was they were going for when it released that everybody that was playing it was like the very first people to come out of the vaults. So there wouldn't be any NPCs, there wouldn't be a lot of things. It essentially would be a game that, similar to Second Life, is created by the community that's playing it. And so that's why, to me, day one launch on that game was, it's still to this day one of the most unique like launches and an incredible gameplay experience for the first week or first few days, because it's as we were talking earlier about like the community, like it was the community in that first wave of Fallout 76 made that game so amazing and hilarious. It was like everybody had no idea that voice chat was just always on. So you just be randomly walking and all of a sudden somebody is singing like "Take me home to a place," and they're just like singing it off in the distance, and it's like, fucking hilarious. And there were like waves of people like role playing and coming out being like the Wastelander rescuers, and like they were doing all this, and there was just this amazing, amazing community in the first few days of Fallout 76 that really made it feel like of us Wastelanders were coming out, or all of us like from the vault came out and were banding together and like forming a community to explore the wastelands post that war. And I just thought it was so beautiful. And of course it ended up losing thunder, and Fallout 76 had a lot of fucking problems with it and everything like that. But at least for the first few days, if I could relive that, or like have that similar of like an experience of like the community is really the one that are creating the content while actively playing in it, that stuff is pretty rare. It's pretty rare to find. Sometimes you can find that, I think, in like certain ARC servers or Rust or something like that, where you can like mod. You can kind of get community driven content like that in a game, but not on the level that was like Fallout 76. I just thought it worked really well. That like a lot of people were completely learning the game and learning the world just as they had intended that like first vault dwellers would, right? And so like that to me was just like such a cool meta moment, and I'd love to relive that.
Days, I have the memory of Fruit Fly, so, but that was the first time I remember playing an online game with you. You came in, I was level 3, and you came in as level 18, like a golden god, and saved us. Do
I
you
loved
remember
it
this
when it
at
was
all?
released.
Yeah.
That week is somewhat of a blur because I was like celebrating it. Well, not a true blur, but like in the sense of, I think by that time when a bunch of people started joining and playing, and I had already gone through like the first 10 levels. Usually at night, and at that point we were like drinking and shit, and so yeah, it was a lot of fun because we had a lot of people from this community from DLG like pop in and join in as well, and that was a whole nother. I remember when we were all exploring the camera and like how to take pictures, and we did like whole family photos and lining everyone up, and so like those were the things that I was talking about. Like it's such a blast with the community like that. But no, I don't really remember that much of saving you. It's just a Tuesday, Emilio. Like,
It's just Tuesday for me. For you, what is it when Wanda says to Thanos, "You took everything from me," and he's like, "Who? I don't even know who you
I
are."
don't even know who you are.
Yeah. Sniper, do we have a rundown for me to list off here? What are we doing? Are we changing the lineup?
At the bottom of the show notes, they're down there if you want.
Oh, I see it. Okay, cool. What is everybody playing next week?
Probably Diablo
So-
4 and the final for me.
Well, it's only going till tonight, right? The beta's only open
that's
till tonight.
true.
No, it's gonna
think
start
Diablo
back up
4 is
again
only
Friday
open
again
tonight.
as well.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Next weekend they have another beta. Okay.
Marble Snap is what I'm fucking playing.
Oh, dude, we have have you been playing?
Dude, I hit fucking collection level 3, and yeah, I'm pretty good.
Oh my god, we gotta talk off air, I think.
Please do.
It's so good.
Somebody gifted me a game. Fastidious gifted me The Pale Beyond. We really wanted me to check it out. I'll be playing that this week.
The what beyond?
The Pale Beyond.
I haven't heard of it.
Yeah, it's a survival game.
Oh, your favorite?
Yeah, survival RPG. But it's not like a, I don't know. It's not like a first person around chop down trees type of thing. It looks a little different. So I don't know. I'll give it a shot.
Cool. Even forgot to put it on the radar. Returnal, the Tower of Sisyphus. Holy shell. I'm gonna get some gameplay footage and then we'll just play that and then I'll explain why I like it so much. That was my whole goal this week, and I worked 7 days in a week instead. Besides that, Diablo IV, yeah. So the rundown of everything we talked about this episode, I'm not going to put it over the music because I want the music to play crystal clear. The rundown is on the radar. We had Puppet Masters, the game. Terrible movies and somehow better as a collective if you have 16 hours. The Last Spell, Total War, Warhammer 3, Dash, Forge of the Chaos Wars or Dwarfs, Dark and Darker, Hyperlight Breaker,
Oh my God, dude.
Magin, the Rat Project Stories. And then our highlights, we had Inscryption, Guilty Gear Strive, The Binding of Isaac, The Finals, and Diablo 4.
Bringing it home. All right.
I better be able to listen to this song. I haven't heard it in years.
I dig my hole, you build a wall. I dig my hole, you build a wall. One day that wall is gonna fall. Gonna build that city on a hill. Gonna build that city on a hill. Someday those tears are gonna spill. So build that wall and build it strong, 'cause we'll be there before too long. Gonna build that wall up to the sky. Gonna build that wall up to the sky. Someday your bird is gonna fly. Gonna build that wall until it's done.